done photo shoots for friends and family, but this one was different. This is the first time that I had a paying client with real expectations, and they didn't know who I was. I was stressing out. I carry my camera bag everywhere I go. Well, maybe not everywhere. I carry my camera bag around a lot. And I went to a birthday party, and I ran into this lady, and I was talking to her, and she had somebody take pictures before, and they didn't do a very good job. So she wanted to see if I would do a better job, and I showed her my work, and she said, yes, let's do it. We scheduled it like a month out. I thought I would fold clothes on camera, but I'm not very good doing multitasking. So a month out, I'm ready to go. I thought about buying a flash and trying to figure that out because I knew it was gonna be an indoor shoot. And all of my shoots are natural light outdoors. I've never used a flash before, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna use my studio lights. We're gonna run with it, see what happens. Day of the shoot, I grab my studio lights, I grab my gear, we walk inside, and she takes me to show me where we're gonna shoot at. The walls were not perfect, the lighting was horrible, the fluorescent lights above, they were that yellowish color, and she had to flick the lights on and off because all of them weren't coming on. And then some glitch, they decided to come on. It was not very bright and it was not a good setup for lighting. And I'm thinking, oh my. She was already a little apprehensive. We got one of the props set up, she put it where she wanted it, and me and my wife were talking and I was like, well, let's move this. She had it right up against the wall. And I'm like, let's move it away from the wall so we can get some bokeh, get a little bit of a blurry background. And she didn't really like that at all because the last lady that did a shoot for her, she started out by moving the prop as well. And I'm like, oh man, just please trust me on this one. And I was like, you know what, let's move it again. We took the prop and we moved it closer to the windows so I can get some more natural light in. She was still really on edge about this and she was really worried that I was not gonna pull through. She knew that this was my first gig, my first paid gig from a stranger of a client, and I knew it too. The more nervous she got and anxious that she got, the more stressed out I got. I didn't know how these pictures were gonna come out. It was hard to mess with the camera settings to make sure that everything was in focus and it looked good. When we left there, my nerves were shot. My neck started hurting and I was like, oh man. And I just could not wait to get home and edit these photos. I jumped on the computer and spent another 4 hours editing all these photographs. We agreed to a 2-hour shoot with about 50 to 75 photos. I delivered 106 photos. I edited all of them, I color graded it, removed outlets and things like that that were in the way. I thought that the pictures came out really good considering. And I knew I was gonna pull this off, but I didn't know what her expectations were. I got a flash drive, I went by and I gave it to her and she wrote me a check. And I walked away and I'm like, we didn't look at them or anything. How do I know if she even likes them? If she doesn't like them, is she gonna badmouth me to everybody else? Kind of like she did the other lady, which I don't know who the other lady is. So, I mean, I don't really know who she is. But even so, like, is she gonna like them? Is she not gonna like them? And I shot her an email and asked her what she thought. Come to find out, she said that I had excellent quality of work, I was efficient, and that she would also give me a customer recommendation. So I'm like, yes, good experience. But I made a lot of mistakes. Number one, no contract. She wanted all rights to the photos, and I'm like, yeah, I have no problem with that. That's totally fine. I did specify though that I wanted them for self-promotion. I guess that wasn't very clear because I started talking to her at the shoot, and she told me that she would have to have release forms and everything else in order for me to use those photographs. Number two, the lighting. I really should have come and said, all right, hey, let me come over and see what kind of setup we have for this first. I should have known what I was getting into and what the area looked like before shooting day. And maybe I could have adjusted or made some suggestions. And number three, I should have been more confident. My wife always tells me, hey, quit telling everybody your insecurities and fears or whatever. And she doesn't word it like that, but she always tells me, like, quit telling everybody that this is your first gig or you're not sure how it's gonna turn out. She's like, you always do amazing. Quit telling people that. And she's absolutely right. When I went into this, I was nervous. I had no idea what the lady's expectations were. And she was already apprehensive because of prior experiences. So the less confident I was, the less confident she was in me. And to be perfectly honest, the pictures came out great. So don't downplay yourself in front of the client. So I've done shoots for my friend's rib business, a coworker's rock band, my brother-in-law's baby photos, and just photos in general of my family and events that we go to and such like that. And I have another photo shoot this weekend, and it's a maternity shoot. I'll have to tell you how that goes too. Like always, work harder and smarter, stay diligent.